Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So nice to be together at the end of what has been quite a week for us, for our country. And I just invite everyone as we get ready to welcome in Shabbat together to take a deep breath. Maybe close your eyes. Just feel your feet on the ground. If you're sitting, maybe you're standing. Inviting yourself and all of ourselves to really embrace Shabbat and bringing in Shabbat together with song. And we'll begin with Higalena, the last paragraph of Yadid Nefesh, which you can find on page 10 in the Lev Shalem or page 252 in the Sim Shalom.
את סוכה שלא אמר היגלנה ופרוס חביב עליי את סוכה שלא סוכת שלום היגלנה ופרוס חביב עליי את סוכת שלום
We continue with L'chune Ranana on page 11 or page 254 in the Sim Shalom.
L'chune Ranana.
Passion yadav yatzarenu nishtachaveh. Ki hu Eloheinu anachnu amerito v'tzon yado hayom v'shmakol v'tishma otot shemu lelavchem k'miyom yom. 40 shana.
40 shana. Amen.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בשר מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול
שמה תשמח ציון ותגרנה עיניון יהודה למען משפטך אדוני
כי אתה אדוני הכל הארץ מאוד נעלית הכל אלוהים
אוהבי אדוני סינורה שומר נפשות חסידיו מיד רשעים יצילם
זרו על הצדיק יש לב שמחה שמחו צדיקים אדוני והודו לזכר קודשו מזמור שיר לאדוני שיר חדש כי ניבאת שר שלנו הודיע אדוני ישועתו לעיני Hariyu Adonai kol haaretz v'tzcho v'ranenu v'sameram. Hariyu Adonai.
ירעם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושב ובא, נהרות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו.
לפני אדוני כי בא, ישפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל, בצדק ועמים במישרים. Continue on page 19 or page 258.
משה ואהרון וכהניו ושמואל וקורא שמו קוראים אל אדוני והוא יענה.
בעמוד ענן ידבר עליהם, שמרו עדותיו וחוק נתן לעמו.
אדוני אלוהינו אתה ניתן, לנושא יתעלם ונוקם על עלילותיו.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
We invite you to rise if you are able on page 21 or page 260, Mizmor LeDavid.
מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז.
יעבור אדוני כבוד שמו ישתחוו לאדוני באדמת קודש.
כל אדוני על המים ואל הכבוד כי
אדוני על מים רבים, כל אדוני עכשיו, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עם בשלום, ירנאי ירנאי היי ירנאי היי יבואי
I invite everyone to take another deep breath as we feel the warmth of Shabbat starting, the energy of the song. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
As I say, each week it feels very special to be together, even if we're not physically together, to be together either on Zoom or from wherever we are in our country, in the world. It feels special that our community is expanding and growing. And it feels like this week was quite a week, and it was really just 2 days ago that we had the inauguration of our new president. And it was 2 days ago that poet laureate Amanda Gomrin opened her inauguration poem, "The Hills We Climb," with these powerful words. She said, "When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and that norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. Today, we stand in a moment of hope. And so too, in this week's parasha, Parshat Bo, B'nai Yisrael stand in a moment of hope. Gomrin's words reverberate back to the Israelites, picking up their unleavened dough as they hurried to leave the oppression of Egypt, the belly of the beast behind them, and a sea to cross coming up before them. Silence, the rabbis tell us, was the numbness of our people enslaved in the land of Egypt. As Gomrin puts it, this silence was not peace. What just was far from justice. And so, Vayizaku, the people cried out, and Vayishma Elohim et nakatam, God heard their cry. Silence is not peace. The people of Israel rushed to leave in the darkness of night, packing and getting ready for dawn to come, painting their doorsteps with blood. Somehow they did it, and that somehow that they did it was they took the hyssop, the branch of the hyssop, and the Midrash tells us that they didn't just take one, they took an agudat, they took a group of them, and the Midrash says that it's not just one lowly branch on its own, right? That one branch on its own was nothing, but when it came together, it became a brush, and that's what they used. That's what the Israelite people used to save themselves, to brush the blood on the doorpost. That the one was nothing, but the group was everything. And while Gomrin notes that we, America, are a nation not broken but unfinished, the people of Israel are not broken, but are a nation just about to begin. For B'nai Yisrael, the journey of the wilderness is approaching. The understanding of laws and justice are beginning to shape who they are, who we are. Their past as slaves will remind them to treat all with dignity. And for our country, our story is unfinished. And we now rise up to continue the fight for our natural world, to allow the pain of injustice to burn deeply within us, fighting for diversity, equity, and inclusion for every single one of us. For both nations, our work is far from done. The work is only just beginning. And so Gomrin concluded on Wednesday, and she said, The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. As we stand like B'nai Israel in this week's Parsha, in our moment of hope, the darkness and fear fading quickly, may we each be brave enough to be the light we so desperately seek in our world today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue with the light of the Chadodi, which you can find on page 23 in the Lev Shalem, or page 262 in the same Shalom.
לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. קלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה.
מקדש מלך יהיה מלוכה ויצא מתוך הבטחה. רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי קורבה אל נפשי גאלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי כי רעך קומי אורי. אורי אורי שיר תברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקמנה.
והיהודים שיסה שעושייך ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כמסוס חתן חתן על כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקמנה שבת המלכה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקמנה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקמנה.
This is the moment in the tefillah when we welcome in our mourners, and this week we welcome in Lawrence Geismar and Stephanie Wiener. And I don't know if their children Ethan and Ariel are here, but I also know that Lawrence's mother Sonia is welcomed in as well. And we extend our condolence to Lawrence and Sonia and the whole family on the death of Lawrence's father, Arnold Geismar, with the words of comfort on page 26, or in Sim Shalom on page 286. and 64.
64.
Hamakom yenechem echem betoch sha'ar avei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the divine comfort you along with all the other mourners of Zion and Yerushalayim. So we're holding you close. We also know that Joel Mitnick and Marsha Hochman are on as well. They just completed Shiva this morning with their children Emma and Annie, and extend our condolences on the death of Joel's father, Daniel Mitnick.
We continue with Mizmor L'Todah, the shir for the day for Shabbat, on page 27 or page 266.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai.
להגיד בבוקר חסדך
להגיד בבוקר חסדך
ואמונתך בלילות, אמונתך בלילות.
טוב טוב להודות לאדוני. במעשה ידיך רנים אגדו ומעשה חלום אמורים כמו קשיבתך ישמע הציתו כל פנים כי הנה אוהבך אדוני כי הנה אוהבך יבינו יתפלגו כל פנים צדיק כתמר יפרח כארז ואמנון נזכה שתולים ותנו הון ינובון בשיבה
דשנים ורעננים יהיו
טוב טוב להודות לאדוני להגיד כי ישר אדוני
להגיד כי ישר
אדוני צורי ולא עוולה תבוא
טוב טוב להודות לאדוני אדוני מלאכים ולבש ושלום יצית עליו ציפורים
עדותיך נאמנו מאוד
עדותיך נאמנו מאוד
לביתך נבוא הקודש אדוני לאורך ימים.
We turn now to the services of Arvit, which and rise if we're able for Baruch Hu, which in Lev Shalem is on page 39a and in Sim Shalom, page 279.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bimaro ma'ari v'ari v'chochma potech shirim u'v'gedolam shanim. Ariyam v'layla golel or minich choshav v'choshav.
Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, mavdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai tzvaot מאמינים לך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המרים הרבי.
Avat Olam, page 40 or page 282. Avat Olam, Meit Yisrael, Avata, Torah, Mitzvot, Uvimur, Shatim, Atan, Levarat, Elokeinu. Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, v'hem negeh, yomam v'layla, ve'avatcha tasim imenu, le'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai ואהבתך את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבדך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרת מלאות על ידיך ולטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אמת.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
We pray for redemption, Michamocha, page 44 in Lev Shalem, on page 290 in Sim Shalom.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה מרים ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגיהלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Pray for peace on page 45 or page 292. Or page 294.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה
Amen.
בעלמא דיברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יש באבא מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתעטר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי קדושה. לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה,
תושבחתה ונחמתה תמיד עלמא.
We turn now to the Silent Amidah. The formal text can be found in your Siddur and Lev Shalem on page 47 or on page 296. In Sim Shalom, some moments of quiet reflection, searching of connection with God, or a sense of finding the voice within. We turn to Vayichulu, page 53 or page 314. Vayichulu Hashemayim haaretz v'chol tziba'am Vayichal Elohim b'yom hashvi'i v'lachto asher hasa Vayishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikom v'lachto asher hasa Vayivarach Elohim et yom hashvi'i v'ykadesh oto Kivo Shabbat mikom melachto asher bara Elohim lasot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ.
מגן אבות בדברו, מחיים מתים למערו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו.
המניח דמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם.
לפניו נעבוד ברעב הפחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד.
מעון הברכות, אל הודות אתון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה להעמיד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית.
אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו מצוותיך, ותן חלקנו בתורתך. סבנו מטובך, satiate us with your goodness, ושמח נפשנו בישועתך. ותאר ליבנו לעבדך באמת. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה רצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו וישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Kaddish Shalem, page 54 or page 316.
יתגלתה וקדש מרבה ועמד יברח ירתה והמלך מלכותה בחייכון ובמכון ובחיי תכו בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב וימרו
אמן.
יש מרבה מברך לעולם ועל מעלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשם קודש בריחו לעילמין כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה מעלמה ואמרו אמן.
אמן. תתקבל צאן אבותינו דרכו ישראל קדם אבון משמיא ואמרו
אמן. שלום רב מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
אמן.
שלום שלמה
הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Kiddush, if you have a cup of juice, a cup of wine, we invite you all to participate in Kiddush. This is not a performance here. This is a sanctification of the day of Shabbat through wine or juice. And I mean, even if you don't have wine or juice, you can also sanctify the day through other means, like scotch or something like that. You just can't say Borei Pri Hagafen. So get something to drink so we can all mark this beautiful Shabbat together with Kiddush on page 55 or page 318, depending on the Siddur you're using.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Pri Hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'v'ratzon הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא הקודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim. Now you can drink.
L'chaim. I was thinking as you were saying you can grab anything. You could do a l'chaim imayim. So even if you have water, you could
That's
do a
right.
l'chaim to that.
L'chaim imayim. It's true. We're now going to say Hamalach HaGoel Oti and invite the children who are with us to join us. If you have children there or just loved ones, or if you don't have them and you're on your own, which is the truth of many people, with a lot of love, we can connect in this very strange but incredible way through the universe, through the virtual space, to let all of us know that no one is alone. That's what community does. That's what a sense of tradition does. That's what a sense of being part of even this nation does, is remind us that we're not alone and that we all have the gift of being given a blessing. Hamalach HaGoel Oti.
Hamalach HaGoel Oti Hamalach HaGoel Oti mikol ra yevarech et ha'ne'arim v'karev alehem shemi v'shem avotai v'shem avotai Avraham
even how I have a child in the room, but he won't come. So this is also, even if you have a child in the room, doesn't always mean that they're willing to come and get a blessing. But nonetheless, we also say that from a distance. So for everyone who is...
He's practicing social distancing.
That's right. Everyone who is looking for a blessing, we offer these words of our tradition that appear in the Torah and grant us all some gift of blessing. Yisimech Elohim kesara Rivka Rachel v'dayas Yisimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim u'Menashe Yivarechecha Adonai v'Yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yirchunecha Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lachem Shalom. Amen. We rise if we're able, page 56 or page 320, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שבורת השמיים ויוסף. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn now to Mourners Kaddish, all those marking a yard site, or all those in mourning. And once again, I want to extend our condolences to Larry Geismar and Stephanie Wiener and their children, Ethan and Ariel, and Sonia Geismar as well, on the death of Lawrence's father and Sonia's husband, Arnold Geismar, to Joel Mitnick and Marcia Hockman, their children, Emma and Annie, on the death of Joel's father, Daniel Mitnick, to our BJ program administrator, Danielle Friedman, on the death of her grandfather, Erwin Friedman, and to Jody Bayer and her entire family on the death of her mother, Rosalind Plax, who will be buried on Sunday, so she's not yet saying Kaddish. If you're in mourning or marking your site, I invite you to rise. If you're on the Zoom, please unmute so we can hear you saying Kaddish on page 58 or on page 324. יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח ירוצה וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ויומכון, וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ותהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ברמה, ויעשה שלום עלינו, ובית תבל, ואמרו אמן. Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We hope Shabbat has begun in a beautiful way. Tomorrow morning there's Hachana L'Tfilah with Roli at 9 o'clock from 9 to 9:25, either through the members-only Zoom or the BJ live stream and Facebook Live. If you want to get up a little earlier and have the chance to prepare for the prayer with beautiful liturgical poems, piyutim. Shabbat services formally begin at 9:30. Also with the members-only Zoom, BJ Livestream, and Facebook Live. There's Arvit and Mindful Havdalah tomorrow night, all on Zoom, beginning at 5:55. And Sunday morning, Shacharit at 9:30. After Shacharit on Sunday, I'll be hosting a listening session with a group of our staff members. I don't want to mention all their names because I'm afraid I'm going to forget someone. So we have a team of staff that has been working with, we're in a pilot program with Keshet, which is a Jewish organization that works on supporting, including, helping Jewish organizations be inclusive and build them out for LGBTQI plus Jews and their families. And so we've been doing work on that, and we actually have a long history of being a synagogue when many synagogues were not open to, at the time it was LGBT. There wasn't a Q, A, or a I, but of opening our doors and making sure that no matter who someone was, their identity, that they felt at home at BJ. And it's been a long time since those days, and we feel it's important to hear the voices of members of our community. So if you are LGBTQIA plus in our community, I'll be hosting a session with our executive director, Colin Weil, and our tzedek program coordinator, actually our assistant director of community engagement, Larissa Wall, on Sunday after morning minyan at 10:30. It is for members only, and it's also for family members of LGBTQIA+. So everyone is welcome for that. On Monday evening, we have the great privilege of having a conversation with Rabbi Yehuda Sarna, who is the chief rabbi of the Jewish Council of the Arab Emirates. And we are deeply grateful to Helena Diamond Glass for sponsoring this program in honor of her beloved parents, which is also true about the Hadar learning that began, a new section began once again. So we're grateful to Helena. The lecture and conversation on Monday night at 7 will be my journey from NYU to the UAE. So promises to be a really interesting evening. On Wednesday, they'll be learning with Aviv, our 20s and 30s, this time with Roli, and with the study of a story from the Talmud. And on Thursday night, which is Tu B'Shvat is Thursday night, Friday, we have a Beyond Tu B'Shvat environmental justice evening with a panel about environmental justice, particularly its intersection with racism. And that is being hosted by our BJ Teen Executive Committee Board and Social Justice Project, which is chaired by Abigail Bromberger, and our BJ Environmental Advocates, along with panelist Rabbi Isaiah Rothstein from the Rabbinic Scholar and Public Affairs Advisor at the Jewish Federations of North America, Carlos Garcia, the Energy Planner at NYCEGA, Peggy Shepard, co-founder and executive director of We Act for Environmental Justice, and we're proud to be hosting this event as part of Hazzan's Big Bold Jewish Climate Fest, which is happening at the time of Tu B'Shvat. So before we conclude, I was a number of months ago, my mom was, I think it was around the time of the election, and talking about, my mom said that when she was growing up, and she grew up in Rhode Island, the teeny little state of Rhode Island, and had never been anywhere, basically. She basically grew up in Rhode Island and had never traveled anywhere except, I think, to Baltimore, which is where some of her extended family lived, and that there was some, maybe some of you remember this, there was some TV ad or something about that had America the Beautiful, and it showed all these different scenes, natural scenes of America, and she said that she remembered being so proud and moved by the sense of the expansiveness of our country and the vastness, and that as someone who had never been anywhere, essentially the sense of the bigness and the beauty and the pride and the glory, really, of what this country was about was very primal for her as a child, particularly never having traveled anywhere. So And the story really stuck with me. I've traveled a lot farther than she did as a child, and I've had the opportunity to drive cross-country a number of times and really experience the vastness of the nature of our country and the different cultures that exist, which are not always easy for all of us to encounter. And we are a big, grand, vast country that is filled with so many stories and so many people. And some of those stories are told way more often, and some of them less, and some of them are crying out to be listened to, and some of them have been silenced and hurt and killed. And yet, time and time again, we touch a place where we say, this place is filled with expansiveness and beauty and hope, and this is where I want to live, and this is where I want to be. And in order to make that be true, we have to tap into that. We have to be able to tap into that sense of possibility and grandness. And if any time we read in the Torah, we're in the essence of the story of what it means to be redeemed, that it doesn't all come at once. In fact, last week's parasha talks about the 4 stages of redemption. V'otzeti, v'itzalti, v'ga'alti, v'lakachti. Nothing happens all at once. It's an ongoing process of saying, we're going to get there. We're going to be what we need to be. It's not all going to happen today, and we're not going to go backward, although sometimes it feels like we are and we have. But we're going to push forward and see the possibility of this grand land, of its beauty, not only of its natural soil, but of all the kinds of human beings, citizens and non-citizens alike, all who want to live in this place, to let us all have a sense of dignity, because this land is made for you and for me. And I feel like this week has been a good reminder that we can feel that way. And it's a reminder that for whenever we feel a sense of hardness or impossibility or even rage or anger, that it will never be if we don't see something different. And so I invite us all at this very, very important moment to not only assume that is someone else's leadership, but that it's our collective path to be on these stories towards redemption, towards dignity, and towards wholeness for all of us. And that will require us to create spaces where we aren't used to making them, and reach and stretch in ways that we might not have before. And so on this auspicious week, I also recognize, I think this coming week is also the yahrzeit of Debbie Friedman, who really had a vast impact on the Jewish American community, finding the intersection between folk music and Jewish music, and really gave a voice and a song to so many at summer camp, and not only in the Reform movement, but her impact was really vast. I mean, her Havdalah melody is sung by basically many Jews in Israel and here, and her Misha Berach for healing, which is so powerful. And so I want to end with her Hallelujah. As Jews, we're not very big. We said this last Shabbat on MLK. It's like we don't really often say like Hallelujah. Like we don't have a lot of looseness in our abilities. Like the Queens Baptist Church, the Reverend Brian Ellis Gibbs, he speaks in ways that we were never trained to speak or sing or anything, but to raise up that sense of Hallelujah. We're in a moment, hallelujah, that we can breathe a little bit easier and feel like there's a path ahead that that this pandemic is actually going to be handled, and that we can find a way forward that is not going to be simple, but we have to keep moving and searching for redemption. And when we see moments where we have to say hallelujah, we should say it. And this is one of those moments. So I invite you, if you're so moved, to rise and join with us with this beautiful melody that will nigun it out a little bit, but it's just one word, so it's very easy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's the whole melody. Hallelujah. Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitin. May God grant strength to God's people. Adonai Yivarech et amav b'shalom. May God bless all God's people, each and every one of us, and all people who need God's blessing of peace, which is all of us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.